Bitcoin is just mathematics. Let me explain. Most people think Bitcoin is some kind of speculative gamble, like digital casino money, but it's not. When you actually think about it, it's just pure maths and basic economics. A fixed, limited supply and rising demand. Once you understand that, it becomes obvious where this is heading. And it's almost impossible not to want to buy and hold some, because mathematics doesn't care about opinions, headlines, or central banks. Unlike government money, Bitcoin has rules that cannot be changed. In this video, I'll show you why that matters, how governments broke the old money system, what that did to inflation, and why Bitcoin keeps getting stronger because of it. Now, there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That number is hard-coded into the network. It's not policy, it's mathematics. And that number can't be changed by anyone. Not governments, central banks, companies, not even the creator. In the year 2140, the final Bitcoin will be mined. No politician can inflate it, no bank can adjust it. Every node around the world enforces the same rule. 21 million, full stop. And that's what I've been saying since 2016. Once you truly understand this, the price only has one long-term direction to go. Up. Because the supply is fixed and the demand keeps growing. So when people ask, what backs Bitcoin? The answer is simple. Mathematics and consensus. To really understand why Bitcoin matters, you need to understand money and how it has changed over time. Before 1971, fiat currencies were backed by gold. That meant governments were constrained. They couldn't just spend endlessly like they do now. They had to prioritize. They could only print as much money as they had gold. Wars, infrastructure, healthcare, every decision had to be weighed carefully because they couldn't print gold. And then in 1971, everything changed. The United States government cancelled the gold standard. From that moment, money became debt. Governments could create as much as they wanted, whenever they wanted. And they did. If you look at this chart of the US money supply, you can see exactly what happened next. An exponential explosion in printing and spending. Let's walk through this chart line by line. See this point here. In 1971, M2 money supply was about 650 billion. 10 years later, by 1981, it had climbed into the low trillions. By the early 1990s, we're in the multi-trillion territory. And I want to show you this diagram just to put into perspective how much $1 trillion is. You can see the difference here. It's a lot of money. Just before the COVID crisis, say 2020, M2 was already over $15 trillion. And today, it's over 20 trillion and counting, 22.2. That means from 1971 to now, the US money supply has grown by several thousand% in nominal terms, while gold supply hasn't grown at all relative to money. Gold is somewhat fixed in supply. Yes, it does grow as more and more is mined, but compared to the growth in the money supply, compared to the growth in the amount of gold mined every day, it's night and day. Every crisis, 2008, 2020, becomes an excuse to stimulate via money creation. That's not accidental. That's the default playbook now. And that's why your currency gradually loses strength. It's not because goods are magically more expensive, it's because your money is worth less. Now, compare these two charts. On one side, you've got the global money supply, rising endlessly. On the other hand, you have Bitcoin's price, rising in response. That's not a coincidence. That's mathematics doing its job. Now, look at the money you use every day. Pounds, dollars, euros, doesn't matter. Those currencies have infinite supply. Central banks can create as much as they want with just a few keystrokes, and they do, constantly. That's why everything around you feels more expensive each year. Your currency is quietly losing purchasing power. As fiat supply expands, Bitcoin represents more purchasing power. One system is designed to inflate, the other is designed to protect you from that inflation. That's why Bitcoin keeps appreciating over time, not because of hype, but because of immutable scarcity. So when someone says Bitcoin could reach $1 million, what they often miss is that it's not that Bitcoin suddenly gets stronger, it's that the currency measuring it got weaker. If Bitcoin did hit 1 million, and make no mistake, it will, your rent and energy bills will be higher too. £1 million Bitcoin probably means 10k a month council tax here in the UK. But the key is this: Bitcoin outpaces that inflation because the supply is fixed while fiat supply keeps on expanding. You don't buy Bitcoin to get rich quick. You buy it to stay rich slowly, to protect what you've earned from guaranteed debasement. Am I saying that you should put all of your wealth into Bitcoin? Probably. I'm just kidding. Or am I? Whenever you make any decision, you have to analyze it from all sides. So let's talk about what could actually go wrong. First, network attacks. In theory, someone could try to take control of the Bitcoin network. In practice, it's nearly impossible. It's too large, too decentralized, and far too expensive to attack. But as Klaus Schwab once said, a large-scale cyber event could happen globally. And if that ever did, Bitcoin would probably be the last of your worries. The entire internet, power grids, and banking systems would be offline. That's a civilization level problem, not a Bitcoin one. Second, exchange hacks. They still happen, but it's never that Bitcoin fails. It's people trusting third parties. When you leave your coins on an exchange, you're trusting someone else's security, not your own. Self-custody removes that risk completely. Third, human error. Losing passwords or seed phrases, sending coins to the wrong address. Bitcoin doesn't forgive mistakes. It makes them permanent. And that's why systems, checklists, and disciplines matter. By the way, if you want to learn how to safely invest in Bitcoin so you don't get hacked, scammed, or lose access, I've made a separate video on that. The link is in the description. Fourth, regulation and volatility. Governments can regulate exchanges and tax reporting, but they can't regulate mathematics. And volatility, well, that's simply the price of opportunity. It's how early adopters get rewarded. Bitcoin isn't about getting rich quickly. It's about escaping a system that guarantees you'll get poorer slowly. It's not about chasing price targets. It's about taking control of your wealth in a system that can't be inflated, frozen, or seized. You don't buy it for next month. You buy it for the future because over time, mathematics beats manipulation. I've been in Bitcoin since 2015. I've made millions, I've lost millions, and I've learned that Bitcoin rewards discipline and punishes carelessness. That's why everything I teach comes back to one principle: security first. Because the only thing worse than missing a rally is losing what you've already earned. You're not betting on hype. You're choosing mathematical certainty over political promises. And I've been saying the same thing since 2016. Bitcoin supply is fixed. The demand keeps rising, and the price over time only goes one way. Every halving, every crisis, every round of money printing, the chart keeps proving it. Bitcoin rewards patience, process, and security. It punishes shortcuts. Always has, always will. If this makes sense, and you want to learn how to set yourself up in Bitcoin safely, I've made a separate video that walks you through the exact process step by step. The link's in the description. I'm Harvinder Bogle. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.